Hey, what's up guys, it's Owen here. I haven't seen any good up-to-date videos on the topic of clock pin order, so today I will be explaining what a pin order is, if you should use one, and I'll be going over the clock pin order that I use. Okay, let's go over what a pin order is. It's essentially the order that you'll press up the pins when you're solving your clock. So you might start with this pin up and turn this gear, and then you'll push this pin up, turn this gear, and this one, turn this gear, and so on. You'll want to use this pin order on all of your solves. Occasionally, you might use a slightly modified version of it in order to take advantage of lucky cases, but for the most part, you're going to be sticking with your pin order. Should you use a clock pin order? Absolutely. As long as you're able to slightly modify your pin order to take advantage of lucky cases, I'll have a video on that soon, there is no disadvantage to using a pin order. There are many advantages to having a pin order. Because you always know the exact turns you're going to make next, you'll have more muscle memory and you can turn much faster. Also, because you're essentially doing the same thing every solve, you can plan much further ahead in inspection and virtually eliminate pauses. As far as I know, there's not a single top clock solver who doesn't use a pin order. So how does my pin order work? Essentially, you'll be pushing the pins up, going counterclockwise. So I'll push the bottom left pin up, then the top left pin up, then the top right pin up, then both of the right pins up, then all except for the top left pin up. So when the bottom left pin is up, I'll turn the bottom left gear until the center clock matches the top clock. Then I'll push the top left pin up and turn it until these two clocks line up with this one. Then I'll push the top right one up and match these three clocks here with the one on the bottom. Then what I'll do is I'll push both of the right clocks up and match all of these edges with this one right here. Then I'll push this bottom left one up and keep these two up, and I'll align the edges to 12. In this case, they were already aligned to 12. So then what I'll do here is I'll do an X2 flip. And as you can see, this pin will stay down, which means once you have flipped, this pin is already up, which means you can go right into doing the same thing on the back side. So remember, bottom left, top right, both of the right ones, all except for the top left. And instead of aligning them to 12 here, I'll go ahead and align all these edges to this corner here. And then the way I like to do this is I'll push this pin up and push this next one down to solve this corner. I'll push this pin up, this one down to solve this corner. This one down, this one up. Match all these to this corner. And then I'll push all of the pins up and align them all to 12. So I'll go counterclockwise for corners, but you can go clockwise if you want, and it's the exact same thing. Okay, now some of you may not like this pin order, in which case you'll need to make your own. Here are a few things to keep in mind when making a pin order. You only ever want to turn one of the bottom gears twice. Once during your first cross, and once during your second cross. If you're turning it multiple times during a cross solution, then you need to get a new pin order. And if you're turning it at all during corners, you also need to get a new pin order. The last thing to keep in mind is your clock pin order should default to an X2 flip. Occasionally you'll want to do a corner flip or a Y2, but that is some pretty advanced stuff, and unless if you're sub 7 seconds, you don't need to be worrying about that. So you need to make sure that once you flip the clock over, the next pin that you're going to be using is already up. For example, in my clock pin order, this pin is down, so after I flip, this one's up, which is my next pin to go to. Your clock pin order might end with this one down, so when you flip, this one's up. So maybe you also will start on this one. So I wanted to go over another pin order option that I see a lot of people using, and it's just as good as my pin order because it's essentially the mirror of it. You'll start with the bottom right, then the top right, then the top left, then both of the ones on the left, and then all except the top right. You'll align all these to 12. You'll do an X2 flip. This pin's already up. Same thing. and then you'll start on this pin for corners, and then you can go either direction. You can either go this direction or this one. It doesn't matter. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions about pin order, comment them down below and I'll be happy to answer. See you next time.